Fouls to fill.
I want to play basketball now.
Maurice Bay Jr. would have been a sophomore this coming school year. His friends say they can always remember him saying faith and obedience are the most important things in life. Working for you tonight, John Burkett, CBS 6 News.
Thank you, John. New at 11, we now know who will fill the House of Delegates seat once held by controversial politician Joe Morrissey. Democrat Lamont Bagby won tonight's special election to fill the 74th district seat, beating independent David Lambert. Bagby will hold it now until the November general election. Joe Morrissey stepped down from the seat earlier this year to run for the Senate, but he did not make the ballot in that race.
Good.
Another hot and humid day today, but tomorrow will be different. It's still going to be warm, but it will be much drier as the humidity will be pushed pretty far south by this cold front that's a little north of Richmond right now, and that drier air will be moving in early tomorrow morning. See, a few showers have tried to develop along the front, but most of those are really falling apart. So most areas stay dry overnight. Temperatures, 70s to right around 80 degrees, and still muggy out there. Here's your forecast for tomorrow. 85 by noon, a high of 89 degrees. So temperature-wise, only 5 or 6 degrees milder than today. The big difference, though, the humidity, which will be very low. I'll let you know how long that nicer weather will stick around straight ahead.
Thank you, Zach. Their vacation photos are going viral tonight. A Richmond couple taking the internet by storm after being spotted with some somewhat unusual beach attire.
I'd say that. Our Rob Desir spoke with the man behind the homemade shark cages, and Rob, what an interesting invention.
Yes, it was. Bill and Candace. Scott Bergman and a group of his friends were discussing all the shark attacks taking place along the Outer Banks. So they thought to themselves, what would a smart business person come up with for personal protection?
Here's the thing. It'll keep me safer from sharks than it would keep you safer from sharks being outside of it. That's the way we look at it.
Scott Bergman is laughing because he has a lot of people fooled from the Outer Banks and on social media.
So shark comes by, you just put your hands in.
Hundreds of thousands. This picture went viral Tuesday, and people can't believe that it's real. That's because it isn't.
We went down there to film our spoof video, but it was the other people filming us and taking pictures of us that really caught the attention and really took off.
This past weekend, Bergman and his wife took what he calls...
This is the Blockjaw PSC-1, Personal Shark Cage 1.
Made out of PVC pipes and steel bolts to make a funny video on a way people could protect themselves from all the shark bites that have been reported on North Carolina's coast this summer.
We've heard some people express concern because we had our hands out waving. Well, you just bring them inside.
Bergman says he'll release the spoof video soon, but in the meantime, he just hopes everyone will be safe out there in the ocean.
The idea is that you would go in and you could put it down on the surface of the ocean so that you had protection along the bottom.
Now, Bergman wants to stress that he isn't making light of the shark attacks. He's just looking for a collective laugh. By the way, if he actually did sell a Blockjaw PSC-1, he says it would go for $499.99. Bill?
An amazing invention. All right, thank you, Rob. The Washington Redskins are set to arrive in Richmond next week for their summer training camp, and fans can expect to see a number of changes. The Richmond Economic Development Authority says you can expect to pay more for parking, you'll see fewer dining options, and perhaps you'll have a longer walk to the facility. Organizers say costs at city-owned parking lots are going to go up from $7 to $10, and the number of food vendors outside the building will be reduced from 6 to 3. And the shuttle service is going to be discontinued. The Redskins will hold 13 practices in Richmond starting next Wednesday. At least admission is still free.
A local man has pleaded guilty to growing more than 500 marijuana plants with the intention of selling them. The feds say Danny Norwood had a very extensive growing operation inside his New Kent home. When agents raided his house, they also found 7 guns, 7 cell phones, and $800 in cash. A massive industrial fence surrounded his property. Norwood will be sentenced in September. The medical examiner says one of the 3 inmates who died at the Richmond jail last week died of natural causes. Sheriff C.T. Woody tells CBS 6 the medical examiner made that ruling about 38-year-old Javon Morris. A cause of death is still pending a toxicology report, and that could take several weeks. The deaths of inmates Sean Samuel and Zachary Tuggle are still being investigated.
Police call it the biggest unsolved crime in Henrico history. In 1984, Mike Margaret and Donna Hall were found dead in the West End. Solving the killing of the young couple has frustrated family, friends, and investigators for 30 years. Now, with advances in technology, Henrico police are hoping to crack the cold case and finally catch the killer.
CBS 6's Greg McQuaid and photographer Chris Munnings investigate.
Just off a sloping stretch of Gaskins Road.
It's definitely a memorable spot.
Manicured lawns grace tidy homes along Weston Lane. 2 decades ago, this tranquil neighborhood sprouted up on a sprawling farm in vast woods. Today, few drivers passing by may know that this area
The deaths were just horrific.
was the scene of one of the most grisly crimes in Henrico's storied history.
She was very vivacious, tons of energy.
In 1984, Donna Hall, an 18-year-old graduate of Freeman High School, was dating 21-year-old Michael Margaret,
He was just nuts about her.
a graduate of Tucker High School. Friends say both are madly in love.
From the moment they met, done. They were crazy about each other.
On the steamy night of Friday, August 17th, the couple of 3 years drive off in Mike's Jeep for 2 days of camping.
I didn't see anything really unusual with what led up to that weekend.
Donna and Mike stop in a secluded spot crisscrossed with trails popular with teens. It would be a deadly decision. Monday morning, the couple fails to return home.
I wasn't really worried.
Mike's best friend, Dennis Urick.
I remember people were speculating that they might have run off and gotten married.
They had been dating for quite a while, for a couple years.
But with his older brother's disappearance, Scott Margaret grows concerned.
For him not to call or not to show up for work was highly unusual.
Missing person reports are filed.
It was very nerve-wracking to not know what was going on.
We're now going to pan up to the Jeep.
4 days after they were last seen, a dog walker stumbles upon Mike's abandoned Jeep.
The door was found open.
Curiosity turns to horror when the man finds 2 bodies nearby.
They told us that they had found them.
Donna and Mike, victims of an unspeakable crime, stabbed repeatedly, their throats slashed.
There appears to be another wound.
Homicide investigators and forensics swarm the area.
The search for clues continues in an apparent double murder in Henrico County.
Mike had put up a fight.
Cold case detective Thomas Holsinger says days of torrential rains wash away vital evidence.
It's just awful.
Police interview friends and develop leads, but the trail soon grows cold.
You just feel like this is a very bad nightmare.
The killings rock the relative quiet of the West End.
Nothing like this, it happened. It was unheard of. Absolutely unheard of.
Investigators say the couple was carrying a large sum of money to possibly buy drugs. Cash never found.
At this time, robbery has been ruled out as a motive in the slayings because none of the victims' valuables were taken.
I do think that drugs were involved, but I do think that the people knew each other.
Investigators suggest the killings may also be a crime of passion or revenge. Tracy Reed Leverty, Donna's best friend, says her companions grow suspicious of strangers and each other.
It had to be somebody that knew them. I don't know how that could be a random act of violence. I really don't.
Hours turn to days, days become weeks, weeks melt into months.
It's anger, it's frustration, it's shock.
30 years on, the couple's killer remains on the loose. For Detective Holsinger, this nagging cold case is personal.
And so it's a huge deal, continues to be a huge deal, and probably Henrico's biggest unsolved case.
The Henrico native graduated from Tucker High with Mike.
And a brown substance on a blue suitcase.
We do in this scene have a third blood type that's there, that's not the victim's.
DNA testing, virtually non-existent in 1984, may indeed crack the case.
This might be our last shot at solving this crime after 30 years.
For Scott Margaret, the waiting and not knowing who killed his beloved brother has been heart-wrenching.
You want that knock on the door, but, here it is 30-some years later and still no knock.
Donna's best friend Tracy questions how someone could carry the weight of snuffing out 2 young lives for so long.
Even if it's on your deathbed, come forward. Clean it up. clear it up for everyone who's been left behind.
In the years following the murders, Donna's devastated mother moved away, taking her only child's remains with her to West Virginia, not knowing who took her life. As for Mike Margaret, he was buried at West Hampton Memorial Park on Patterson Avenue in a simple grave across the street from where his life ended so long ago.
It brings a lot of anger, a lot of anguish.
His younger brother Scott will not rest easy till the case is solved.
30+ years doesn't mean that we will just crawl into our holes and go away. We'll still keep working at it. We'll still keep fighting to find out who did this.
Investigators lament with the passage of time, memories fading and witnesses passing away. The chances of finding the killer dwindle each and every day. Scott Margaret says his family held on to his brother's Jeep for more than 20 years after the killings as a keepsake of his beloved brother. If you have any information related to this unsolved crime, call Henrico Cold Case Investigator Detective Thomas Holsinger at 501-5276. I'm Greg McQuaid, CBS 6 News.
2.5 years behind bars. That's the sentence for a Chesterfield woman who pleaded guilty to embezzling today. Melissa Morris admitted to stealing nearly $500,000 over a decade's time from her employer, Industrial Machine Manufacturing. Because of the missing money, employees were forced to have their pay cut 14% for nearly 3 years and then have their hours cut. The judge told Morris he would consider alternate forms of sentencing, but before doing that, he'd have to see her attempting to pay back some of that money.
CBS 6 Sky Tracker, sponsored by Baugh Auto Body.
Well, today, the last of the really hot and humid days for us. Now we get a break. We'll start you off to look through our Dominion Sky Tracker camera. A quiet night out there. The cold front is on our doorstep. We've seen a few showers try to develop along that front. And there's an outside shot there. Could be one right along the front, but most of us will stay dry. And the much drier air will move in behind the front, and that's what we'll all get to enjoy tomorrow. And it looks like on Thursday and Friday, although the humidity will begin to come back a bit as we get closer to the weekend. 76 is the low today. Made up to 92 this afternoon and picked up 0.06 of an inch of rainfall at RIC with one of those pop-up showers today. Right now it's 80 degrees, the dew point at 73, so it is still awfully muggy out there. It still makes it feel like it's in the mid-80s. And other temperatures here across the metro, it's 75 over in Midlothian, 74 in Short Pump, still 76 in Chester, and also 76 degrees back in Mechanicsville. Across the rest of the Commonwealth, out in Louisa, 75, as well as South Hill at 76, Tappahannock, and 78 over in Kilmarnock. Lows tonight, mid-60s north and west, the rest of us upper 60s and low 70s, and then highs tomorrow are going to make it in the mid and upper 80s. But what you can't see here are the dew point temperatures are going to be very, very low, about 20 degrees lower than they have been. So that lower humidity is going to make it feel great. No rain tomorrow, lots of sunshine, north wind 5 to 10, high of 89. So we'll take you through the next couple of days here. Cold front will continue to move south and east, maybe 1 or 2 pop-up showers along that front over the next couple of hours. And then skies clear out. Wednesday is going to be beautiful, again with low humidity. Even into Thursday, we'll have a chance for a few showers across Southside Virginia and into Hampton Roads. But the humidity is still going to stay fairly low across the area. I'm going to leave rain chances out of the forecast for Central Virginia. As we get into Friday, we'll continue to see fairly low humidity. Dew points making it back up into the mid-60s, but again, no mid-70s. Where they've been has been pretty tough to deal with, and it looks like we'll finally see that humidity returning as we get into the upcoming weekend. So normal this time of year is 90 degrees. Tomorrow, 89, then Wednesday, 88, then back up to 89 on Thursday, and then we'll pop back up into the 90s over the weekend, and the humidity will come back as well. We'll have a chance for some thunderstorms around, but really not until we get toward the end of the weekend, probably late on Sunday. So here's the way it looks. 3 straight days in the 80s. The lows will drop down into the 60s. So Thursday and Friday mornings, both very comfortable starts to the day. As we get into the weekend, low 90s both days. Chance for a few storms late on Sunday. And then some scattered storms will continue to be possible early next week. All right, here's my answer. Jigsaw. Call Bill Bevins and Shelly Perkins on Easy 100.9 tomorrow at 8:25 a.m. with that answer to win a prize and to get your news and weather headlines from CBS 6.
Thanks, Zach. Could hackers take control of your car while you're in the driver's seat? How they were able to take over a Jeep and crash it from 10 miles away.
And cooking up a controversy why a diner owner says she yelled at a child and why she'd do it all over again if she had the chance.
But first, set your alarm right now if you can. CBS 6 is giving away another $600 Walmart gift card tomorrow morning. So register on WTDR.com and then watch CBS 6 this morning starting at 6:30 to see if you're the lucky winner.
We've got a lot working for you tomorrow.
Spending more money, the one thing Americans are shelling out more cash for than any time in history, and why most say they don't mind.
We're about to get a break from the heat and the...
Caitlin, she's free, open, no more secrets.
Mom has that.
That thing look like a Mars.
Breakfast in bed is a weird thing, right? It's like you're saying, well, it's Saturday. I think today I want to pretend I'm dying in the hospital.
See how far Chris will go on Last Comic Standing tomorrow on NBC.
I can do better than that.
Does Stelara or any of its ingredients alert your doctor of new or worsening problems, including headaches, seizures, confusion, and vision problems? These may be signs of a rare, potentially fatal brain condition. Serious allergic reactions can occur.